Many wildlife scientists, including Scott
Good
Stevens,
shot.
believe those mild winters are part of climate change. And while the initial benefit is for these ringnecks, it's causing some serious problems for ducks.
We're seeing impacts, and especially in this flyway, at both ends of the flyway is probably where we know we're going to have the biggest impacts. You know, areas in Alaska, melting of permafrost, and strong evidence for loss of wetlands on breeding areas up there, probably related to some of the problems we have with scaup and scoters and boreal forest nesting birds. And then, at the opposite end of the flyway, wintering areas with sea level rise that they have projected. We're looking at some really prime wintering areas like the Gulf Coast, basically going underwater, not providing habitat they have for a long time.
Good girl. Good girl. Fetch it up here, Dee.
Well, certainly CRP and the grass nesting cover it provides has been a boon to pheasants, but it's been just as important to ducks and toward curbing climate change.
And the trends we see in this part of the world, are that grassland's going away. We did some quick analysis. We've got about 3.4 million active acres of CRP in North Dakota, which, if that has been in for 10 years, has sequestered about 50 million metric tons of carbon. That's equivalent to 8.6 million cars being on the road for a year. So if we plow up that CRP, we'll lose that much. We think there's going to be a lot of interest in pulling carbon dioxide out of the air because, with what we've set in place now, if we don't emit any more carbon, we're going to see the impacts for 20 or 30 years, just sort of the inertia that's in the system.
One other thing climate change is expected to produce is extended drought over much of the west and nearly the entire prairie pothole region.
The predictions are that if we see some of the changes in patterns of precipitation, we could see the areas that hold water shift eastward in the prairie pothole region, which we all know is probably going to be less productive for the birds because that's the area most dominated by agriculture.